love making candy canes because I don't like real ones, but I just love the way they look and it's so Christmassy. So a candy cane cookie is just perfect. So I'm going to take my red outline consistency here. And if you need help with making your icing or how to make cookies, any kind of tips or tricks, I have tons of videos on my channel for any questions that you guys have. I probably have a video for it. So check out my playlist. I have a tips and tricks, I have a Christmas playlist, tons of videos on all the different techniques, my icing recipe, everything is on my YouTube channel. So make sure you check it out if you have any questions. So again, I'm going to continue with my outline consistency and we're going to section off some of these areas here. So I'm just dividing it as we're going to use different colors. And I know a lot of you ask me questions in the comments and I try to respond to as many as I can. Sometimes I miss some or I just don't get the notification for it. So I will try my best to answer all the questions, but hopefully you can find the answer on my channel if I don't get back to you. And I appreciate all the wonderful comments and likes. It really makes me happy and gives me motivation to keep going with my videos. So once we have our outline ready to go, we're going to just put some squiggle lines here. And again, these are to help prevent craters. There's nothing worse when you go and decorate a beautiful set and then it goes to dry and you end up with a bunch of little holes in it or kind of divots, things like that. And you don't know it's going to crater until it dries and it's horrible. It's not the worst thing in the world because the customer, let's say, or somebody you're giving it to might not notice it. But as a cookie decorator, that's not what you want. So we try to prevent them. My rule of thumb is if it's a small area, I put a squiggle or narrow. And if I'm unsure, you know what? I just put it in there. You better be safe than sorry. And if you can prevent something, then you might as well just do it. So I'm just flooding every second section here where I marked my squiggles to make sure that I have a nice puffy icing and no craters. And then we're going to let this dry. And if you want to speed up the process, you can help dry with a fan. But make sure you let them dry always uncovered. You don't want to put them in a container or somewhere where there's no airflow. Otherwise your icing will not dry. Okay, now that it's all ready to go, we're going to do our next section. Usually if I know what kind of cookies I'm doing, I think about it, do I want my flood really loose or really on the thicker side? Flood in general is a looser icing because we want it to kind of melt into a nice flat icing. That's what royal icing cookies are known for. Their designs are not, like buttercream where it's really puffy and it doesn't dry. This is kind of smooth, really cool looking cookies. So we want looser icing, but if you're doing very, very small kind of designs and cookies, you want to make it a little bit thicker than normal just to make sure that it's not too flowy and be running off the cookie too much. Sometimes it's hard to get into all those crevices and corners, so always go in with a scribe. And this scribe tool is basically just this metal thing that I'm using. You can use a toothpick if you don't have it, or anything really kind of sharp helps to pop the bubbles sometimes if you have any, or to pull the icing right up to the corner. I usually have my main supplies like the colors I use, the scribe and things like that, all linked below my video if you ever need to know where I get my things from. They're always underneath every video in the description. And here we're going to go in with our green outline consistency. And I'm not waiting for the white to dry. The reason being is I want it to melt into the white. And so if you just kind of go in right after the icing has been laid down, so then it kind of melts. That's my outline consistency only because I want to keep it a nice, very kind of distinct line. I don't want my icing melting into the other color. Make sure you check me out tomorrow for another new Christmas video. We'll see you then. Happy baking!